And there he is. Hey, Kyle, how you
Well,
doing?
pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. You hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Kyle,
All right.
thanks for being here, Kyle.
Well, it's my pleasure and glad I could help you guys.
No worries, buddy. No worries. So we'd been talking on social media back and forth a little bit with you, and you had mentioned you had a couple different things going on in your lifetime there.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of things did you have, just in general? What was happening to you?
Well, when I was a kid in Florida, I had I guess you'd call a really close encounter with Bigfoot. And as I got older, I mean, I've had when I was in my 20s, I believed there was Bigfoot living on my property with some other things going on. You probably seen that movie, The Predator, and heard people claim they've seen that kind of creature like that. At times, using that thermal optic camouflage. I did see that happen once on that property, and I saw a mysterious cloaked figure just disappear in thin air. And in the area I'm living at now, I've had all kinds of things from a UAP, UFO, something. I can tell you, it had red eyes the size of a dinner plate, and just different things. All my life I've had happen weird encounters. I just kept to myself because who would believe me?
Okay. Where did this Bigfoot encounter happen? What state were you in?
The one when I was a kid, it was in Florida, in Hillsborough County, and I was with my mom at her friend's house. Her friend had this chain link fence, and back there was like a grassy area, a creek, and there was a creek bed. Not wide creek, but kind of narrow. One day we were at the fence, and across the creek there was a group of them standing there. Small group, tall, black fur, about 6-7 foot tall. I couldn't tell how many there were. They were like shoulder to shoulder, standing there. You could see the conical shaped heads. You could see their shoulders. And the best way I would describe it is, if you're familiar with the Roger Patterson film, they look just like that. And they were just standing there. They weren't making sounds, no grunts, no whistles, no chatter, nothing. Just standing perfectly still in this little small group out in the open. And my mom and me were there. We just watched them, and we finally walked away. And the next time we went to her friend's house in that same spot, there were nothing there, because I never told people that, because people thought maybe, oh, you saw a tree or something. I'm like, that wasn't a tree. That wasn't a bear. Bears don't stand there with conical shaped heads and have these shoulders like a human does, these broad muscular shoulders.
You say it looked like Patty in the Patterson film. The faces looked like that?
Yeah, exactly. The face, the hair, the way the hair looked, the shoulders, everything. It was like a dead ringer to it.
Did you notice any kind of smells?
None whatsoever. And I've heard of people saying they can telepathically communicate with people in their minds, but none of that at all. Just, there was at least, I think, 4, 5, or 6 of them standing there, but they were all so tightly together. It's like they weren't even moving. They were just like statues.
Were they looking at you guys, or were they in a circle, standing kind of in a circle with each other?
Yeah, they were like in a circle in a little huddle, and they had their heads kind of held down, but they weren't moving their arms or nothing. They were just standing there, with their heads a little lower down a little bit. I'm like, what are they doing? And I've always wondered to this day, what were they doing? Why were they out in the open like that? I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, that's strange. Do you think they knew you saw them?
Honestly, I have no idea. They had to have known, because they had to have heard us. And if they knew we were there, they didn't let us. They pretended like we weren't there, like they were just ignoring us.
What'd your mom say?
I honestly don't remember what she said. She knew they were Bigfoot, and was like, kind of, let's just leave them alone and give them their respect. If you see these things, you should just be careful and be respectful to them, at least, because you never know when they can turn around and try to hurt you, or how much strength they actually have.
How old did you say you were, Kyle, when you saw these creatures?
I was probably between, I want to say somewhere around maybe 7 or 10 years old.
Okay. So what happened after that? Did you start researching and looking up what these things were, or did that come later in life as you got older?
I was already before that actually interested in them. I don't know how exactly I got interested in cryptids. I just always found them fascinating. When I had that encounter, I thought I was so lucky to have that close encounter with them and get that detailed look at them.
Gotcha. So what was the next thing that happened to you?
The next thing I can remember, I was 21. It was 2011. We moved to this new place in Giles County. It had like a natural spring-fed creek on it. We had a single-wide trailer, but behind us there was a hillside, and that's when there were some weird things that happened there. Like, I don't remember which is the first thing I remember happening, but one time I remember walking up to the creek house up there on the property. On the one side of the pathway, there was a pile of bones, like a small pile of bones. They weren't completely bleached white, but I thought, well, that's weird. It's like these bones were just stacked here in a pile on purpose with some intention. I'm like, what is going on here with that? And then the one night I came out my back door, there we had a big old carport, like you could park a big old diesel truck or something underneath it. I was putting my dog on a chain, and on the outside of it, there was a hill that would lead back up to the hillside. I heard some things, two somethings. They ran up there real fast, and this wasn't a person. It wasn't a deer. They were, whatever it was, they were really big, and they moved too quickly. And I put my dog on the chain. I went back inside. I was stood there, waited, and I could hear one of them walking left to right up top of that short distance of a hill, and like it was watching me, but I couldn't see nothing up there. I could hear it walking side to side on upright on two legs. It didn't make no sound or nothing. Didn't throw anything at me. And I was wondering, like, what is that thing? I was afraid to turn on the light, to be honest. I was scared to turn on any light because I don't know what this thing was or what could it have done. And then I had other instances, like one night I was by myself. I was on the couch and watching TV, and it was like 11, 12 at night. My dog, he picks up his head and looks at the back door and starts growling in this low growl, aggressive. And I told him, I said, calm down. There's nobody here. But I got the impression of feeling something came over. Like, have you ever gotten like a feeling that someone's standing outside your house watching you or walking past it? I kept feeling like something was walked by the windows and stood there right by my back door, standing there looking at me. And finally, after a few minutes, this feeling went away. I could have turned my light on, looked out the window, but I chose not to because something told me not to do it. Like, I was just scared. I was too afraid to look out that window and see what it was. And then another incident happened right by that back door. I walked outside. I was in my living room. I looked out the window, and right there, standing there, we had a light on. There was a person standing there sideways wearing a white cloak. They had their face hidden and everything. They had to be like 3 or 4 foot tall. And the cloak looked almost transparent, like you almost see through it, but it was solid white. I stood there, stared at them, and they just glided off. And I snapped out of it like I was hypnotized by it the whole time. I ran out there to see who they were, where they went. No trace of them whatsoever. They were just gone. And I'm thinking, there's no way they could have just disappeared. I would have heard them. My dog was outside already. She would have heard them and barking at them, but they just completely vanished. As if like they weren't even there. And I know what I saw. I saw it clear as day. I never could figure out what it was, or it never happened again. Then other incidents happened, like in broad daylight one day. My mom and me went outside. I forgot why, but our dog ran outside. He went crazy, and all around there's these little skinny sapling trees. The tops of them were snapped off completely clean and gone. They weren't on the ground. They were just so many of them were snapped off. Like, my mom said, something just did that just now. Like something just came through and started taking the tops of these off and breaking them and carrying them off. We never figured out what that was. And my neighbor, she had 3 turkeys, 2 females and a male that would sit on her fence. One night, one of the females just disappeared off the fence. Like, no feathers, no blood, no noise, no nothing. And there's no way you could approach these turkeys. I'm sure you all know turkeys can be aggressive at times. It disappeared. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Then I think it was the next night or another night, the other female turkey disappeared. No trace of her, same thing. Nothing whatsoever. But the night I moved out, the male was sitting there. He was looking up the hillside like he was ready for this thing or something to come back down and get him, or he was going up that hill. And I don't know whatever happened to that male because I moved away from there, and that's when, before that, I saw that thing up the hill walking around. It was like from the movie The Predator, just like it was invisible, but you could see it moving. And I watched it for a few minutes, but I had a camera flip phone, but I couldn't think of getting a good picture of it because it was like, well, I'm probably going to get a good picture. And I was watching it. It was like walking around. And I finally said, no, I better stop watching it in case it sees me and decides to come this way. And I don't know what it's going to do. And then that's what some of the incidents that happened to me in 2011 at that property.
That all sounds like Bigfoot activity to me.
Oh, wow. Because I've always wondered, like, what was that cloaked figure I saw? And I've heard of that Bigfoots can become invisible. People think they're aliens. I don't know what to think.
I'm not sure about the short and the white
Cloak.
Had a white cloak. That may not have been. That might have been some paranormal thing.
Mm.
I mean, I hope it wasn't. It could have been like a child ghost or something. I don't know if it was short. I
don't either. I mean, it freaked me out. And then I've had the property I'm on here, I've had some weird instances happen out here and there over the years since 2012. Like, I've lived in different places in this area. Believe it or not, I was in my one house. It was 2-3 years ago. I was in front of a wood stove and I was talking to somebody on the phone, and I looked over at the window. There's these pair of eyes looking at me, and they're like big, red, glowing, bright red eyes. I couldn't tell you how close they were to the window. They were that bright. And I hypnotized by watching them, and finally I get up, I turn the light on, they're gone. I turn the light off, they're gone. I'm like, okay, it can't be a person, because that window, the height of that window is like 7-8 foot, because I would have to put the air conditioner in there and have to have a stepladder, and that stepladder had to be 7-8 foot. And I'm thinking, what was that? And I had another encounter again. It was at night. It was near not at the window, but near the window, but not too far away from the window, like out by the street light. And I seen them, and it looked at me, and after a few seconds, they just vanished. Like, not even blinked. They just disappeared into thin air in the middle of the night. Like, I didn't see no body for it because it was standing in the dark. The only thing I could see was these giant red eyes that were like 7-8 foot off the ground. And I never could figure out what those were. Like, was it the Mothman or something else that's watching me?
Didn't think about that. The Mothman, the Mothman is known to have big red eyes. So
yeah,
you said you didn't think that it could have been a Bigfoot creature?
No, I mean, I've never heard of Bigfoots having big red eyes the size of a dinner plate before. I'm thinking, what the heck was this thing?
And that happened in Florida. Was that Florida as well?
No, this happened in Tennessee.
Okay.
2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, well, those first incidents sound, the turkeys coming up missing, the cloaked figures walking around, you're hearing people walking around, you saw them standing in a group weirdly doing some weird, who knows what.
Yeah.
Maybe they were praying, who knows. But definitely sounds like, yeah, you've had some activity now. Again, the short white cloak thing, and then the big red eye thing. Who knows what that is?
Yeah, because I haven't been back to that property where I saw the cloak thing, or those. I believe they were Bigfoots on that property, and since 2011. But I haven't seen the big red eyes at that in years. But at this area I'm at now, I've had some weird things happen. Like I told you, Todd, about the incident where me and my mom's ex-husband, my stepdad, went down the woods. He didn't see the guy, but I did. He was on that pathway. He was standing there looking at me. He saw like as you guys are. I can tell you exactly what he was wearing. He just looked at me and took 2 or 3 steps and went into the wood, disappeared like before my eyes. And I told my stepdad, I says, "There's somebody down here watching us." He just disappeared. He's like, "What?" He thought, "Oh, it's just the weather playing tricks on your mind. You know, you're probably seeing things or this, that, and the other." I'm like, "I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. I saw this guy, and I never seen him again after that." And I mean,
what was he wearing? What did he look like?
he looked like an old guy in his 50s, 60s, or 70s, wearing a white T-shirt with the blue overalls over it, and he had a hat on, a ball cap on. He stared at me. He was clean shaved, just staring at me, and I stared at him, and he just took off walking and disappeared right before my eyes.
Did it remind you of any relative that you had in the past, or anyone at all that you knew?
Not that I can think of. I didn't really know any of my relatives at all. I've never known any of them, and I don't even remember. Can't think of who he was, or because my uncle, he knew that area down the woods real well. I said, "Do you know this place?" And I described the place to him. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know anybody who looks like that by chance or anything?" He goes, "No, why?" And he was like, I told him what happened. He believed me. He's like, that's weird. I don't know who that guy could have been. He said, honestly, I don't know. Because I
Interesting.
mean, yeah, because me and my stepdad, we used to walk down that road to an old bait store. Another incident happened is this dog was walking up to us, and we were on our way to the bait store. We watched it come up, wag its tail and stuff, and we told him, "Go on home, go back to your house." And we turned, and I looked behind me. I remember seeing him go up this little embankment. It was like, and just disappear like that in the thin air. And I could have swore he disappeared. My stepdad and one of us asked, "Hey, where'd that dog go?" I said, "He was just right there." And I said, "He didn't. He just vanished." We both saw what happened, knew it. He vanished in there. We went back. After we left the bait store, we went back to that spot to make sure like there's no holes in the ground or nothing. He could have fell through like an old trap or something and the dog wasn't there. He just vanished. And I'm like, what was that all about? Like, what's going on here? Like, where did that dog go? And I used to walk that road a lot, never seen anything else like that happen again. I thought that is so weird. What was that like? I don't know, like a vortex or something open up?
Yeah. Do you live by a portal or something that you're not telling us
Could have
about
been.
there, Kyle, or what? What's going on, buddy?
I honestly don't know. I'd like to know myself because is there a portal somewhere around here that I'm not aware of?
Are you close to woods and all that?
Oh
Mountains,
yeah.
obviously. Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm out here in the country. I'm in the town I'm living in that some of these incidents happen is called Holiday. And we're actually not too far away from the river, the wildlife refuge, even the Pearl Farm.
You had me at wildlife refuge.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
wildlife refuge not too far away from here, and there's like a boat ramp down there and stuff. And
Interesting.
it's like I'm still to this day I've always asked myself what happened to that dog. I mean, I didn't want to go up to the people's house that the dog walked away from because I didn't want them to think I'm crazy or something, and I didn't know if they was there. And I said, I don't think anybody's gonna believe us.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe you're just one of those people that are able to see more than others when it comes to the paranormal world, like we talk about,
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be too.
Tell us about the UFO.
Actually, I can show it to you. It happened right outside my house at night. The spot.
Okay.
I was outside. I can take you out there right now and show you where it was.
Yeah, let's go on a field trip. Let's do it.
Yeah, why
All right.
not?
We're right here with you, buddy.
Yep.
Let me walk outside. I was outside just checking around the house and stuff, and I was going to take some pictures of the moon that night. And I looked up, and I saw this ball of light that looked strange to me. Like, it was brighter. It wasn't a star. It was like it just didn't look right, and it was moving slowly away. And don't know how to flip my camera around. Shit.
And he's gone. The girl from Ipanema.
Yeah. Makes me feel like I should be in a hotel elevator in Vegas smelling coconut.
Yeah, we got him now.
Sorry about
There
that.
we are.
That's
That's
okay.
all right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
maybe stay inside though, because I think you lost your connection the further you got away.
Alright.
No, you're
Yeah, I'm
fine.
at the all right. I'm at the window, and right up there is where the moon was, and where I saw that UAP at. Right up there in the sky, it was like a bright ball light. It would move slowly and stop, and then move again. And I watched it, and I was like, "What is this thing? That's not a star. This ain't a satellite. It's a ball of light." And they don't move, and satellites don't move like that. They stop and keep moving.
How big was the ball of light, would you say?
It was small, like size of from where I was up in the sky. It was like a star. I thought it was a star at first, but I said, "Wait, this is not a star. This is too bright to be a star."
And then, so how big do you think it was? Like that big? You think that, I mean, are we talking like basketball size? Or are we talking like, huge, like spaceship size?
It probably was a lot. When I looked at it, it looked like the size of a tennis ball, but it could have been a lot bigger because it was way, way up in the sky.
Okay. That we've heard of these orbs as well with Bigfoot creatures too.
Mm.
If a lot of people are into what you call the woo and wonder if they can't move around with some kind of energy and formation of some kind of sphere.
Mm.
People have said that's
Right.
been traveling in a different formation. So you're in a hot spot.
Yeah,
Bro.
that's what it sounds like.
No, thank you. I mean, I've been living out here since 2012, and I agree. It's got to be a hot spot because it's like every so often something weird happens out here.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what it sounds like.
Because I mean, I know there's a place up in Tennessee. I've never been to it. It's called White Bluff. They have their own version of Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it, called the White Howler, or something like that. I've read stories. I've told Todd about it, the Werewolf Springs, the Werewolf there, and
that's right.
I mean that might be, if y'all want to ever check it out, you should check it out because I've read stories about it. I've researched it. What's happened there? I can't tell you it's a Bigfoot or is it a werewolf, a dogman, what it is.
Wow.
Do you think Dogman exists? Do you think they're real too?
I believe so. I mean, what are they exactly? I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of spiritual or supernatural being that's has a reason for its existence.
Yeah, you got me on that one. I think it could be.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure it out too.
I want to say it's a government experiment, but I really don't think it is. I think it's a natural. I think it's a creature out there roaming around. I don't think it's natural, but who knows?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure probably the government may want to try to capture one and experiment with it or turn it to a weapon or something. But good luck with that if you try, because if you mess with them, they're like you're not likely want to mess with them because they don't know what they can do.
I'm sure they can do some damage, some real bad damage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, because if you look at different parts of the world, like in South America, they have the one called the Loba Zone, and then in Cajun, Louisiana, they have the Loup Garou.
Yeah, we've had an encounter with a Loup Garou on the show before.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
That's
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've studied the Loup Garou and Loup Garou, what they can be like. Like, you know, there's a story I've heard that if you put so many pennies or something down, they try to count them. I don't know if this is true or not. They can't count past 12. I don't know how that came up or anything, or who discovered that one, if it's even true.
Yeah, I don't know who would have.
Yeah, I've heard that. 13 pennies.
Have you
Yeah,
heard
that's
that,
it.
Brian? You've heard that, Brian? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, if you put 13 pennies down, supposedly they'll just keep recounting.
Yeah.
The Loup-Garous or the Rougarous, the werewolves.
Yeah.
All right, so carry some pennies in my pocket then, huh?
13.
Yeah, it's just like,
Throw them
Oh,
down
yeah.
on the ground and run.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my
There's
God,
a
how many
half
pennies are there? You see them
Apparently,
pennies?
they have to count them, and they can't count
Yeah.
past 12. So,
Yeah, it's just like another creature Louisiana studies you probably heard is the grunch.
I don't think I've heard of the grunch.
I haven't heard of that one.
That's a new one to me. What is a
That one?
grunch?
It's something connected with Marie Laveau. I'm sure you've heard of that name.
Oh, yeah. Marie Laveau.
She supposedly stole the devil's baby or something and did something like cut it in two, and that's how the grunch was created. It's like some kind of, they describe as a hairless meat dog of some kind that runs around. I mean, that's all I could
Wow.
find out about it. It's like, okay, I wouldn't say that's a werewolf. I mean,
A hairless dog, not
or
like
something.
not a chupacabra.
Maybe a chupacabra of some kind. I don't know. But the story is that Marie Laveau created the grunge when she stole the devil's baby or something.
Have to look that one up.
Yeah, the grunge. I'll have to check him out. So what do you think? What do you think about Bigfoot, Kyle? Do you think it's what do you think it is? What do you think he is?
I mean, I have different theories on it. Like, it could be some kind of supernatural, spiritual creature or being that's protecting the forest or something. And I've seen drawings and sketches. I'm sure you all have seen the famous skunk ape picture, correct, in Florida?
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like an orangutan, but you look at other people's pictures of Bigfoot and stuff, they look like two different things. It's like, could that skunk ape, what they took a picture of, could that be a descendant of Gigantopithecus? And if that's true, then what are these other things that people are seeing? Are they some kind of species of Neanderthal or supernatural being, or is it something totally different that we may never understand?
Yeah, that is a good one. That the Florida picture, I don't know what it's called specifically, but it's basically where a woman she lived in Myakka State Park, or right outside Myakka State Park on the edge of it. And that's a huge wooded set of woods down there in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in it a couple of times. It's actually pretty cool. And she was looking out her back window and kept noticing this creature coming up or something, and finally caught a picture of him. And it's a pretty damn clear picture. I mean, you want to talk about not blurry.
Yeah.
And there's your proof. Boom. There, it's right there in front of you. If it's not a real life creature, someone did one hell of a job. They must have had Rick, what's his name who is the guy that did all the gory movies? Rick, you know what I'm talking about. He was, I know, too. He did all the creatures for the Howling and stuff, but that would have had to been him doing that. It just looks too real to me to not be a creature. But yeah, it doesn't look like a typical what you think Bigfoot would look like. It kind of looks like it's a mix between a orangutan and maybe a little bit of chimpanzee, but it's got fangs. And it's just kind of got like, I don't know, it's kind of this grayish, raggedy hair all over it. It's not something I've ever seen before. And if that's a skunk ape, well, then there you go. I mean,
that sounds more like a devil monkey.
Yeah,
or a devil monkey. Yeah, Brian, that's a good point. That's exactly what that could have been.
That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what that could have been. Do you know what picture I'm talking about, Brian? Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
A lady sent it to
the Sarasota, Florida Police Department.
Sent the picture in a letter saying,
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, took this in my backyard, and FYI, there's something running around out here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think originally she thought it was an orangutan that escaped from the zoo. But when you look at this picture, we'll have to find that picture, Brian, and post this when we post this episode. It's got the longest, hugest arm hanging down there, like on its side. It's massive. You look at it from it like, what is that? Is that its arm? Holy crap. It's not like something you've seen before.
Yeah, because I agree with you, Todd. It's everything you say. It's like, my first thought is, I'm thinking, is this an orangutan on steroids or something? I mean, because the lady said it was stealing apples off her back porch. Okay, it likes apples. I mean, chimps and orangutans are herbivores or omnivores, and chimps have fangs. I don't know about orangutans, but it looked so much like some kind of orangutan or something.
Probably can't see this. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah.
That's the picture she took. There's two pictures. She took this one. This is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the eyes and the face, and there's the big arm.
Yep.
And then she took, after she snapped the picture, it did that. It kind of like lurched back and opened its mouth a little bit. She surprised it.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Skunk ape sighting, Myaka. I just typed in Florida Myaka Bigfoot and looked under images, and it pops up. So yeah, I mean, there it is. You know, and the thing I'll say about this picture is that the camera gave that thing eye shine, eye glare. So that's a living creature right there.
Oh yeah.
If it's a human in a costume and his eyes are glowing or whatever, but that's a damn good costume. You know, like
people
you said,
that don't happen with people though.
No, that's true. So there you go. There's your picture. Look it up, guys. We'll post that picture when we post this episode. But yeah, you're right. It was stealing apples off her back porch.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, I've heard of them doing that. I mean, I've heard of them going into people's houses, stealing food, or breaking in people's houses, stealing their fridges and stuff. And people might think it's a bear or something, but you know, maybe it's not. Because I mean, they had the hair just looks just like an orangutan's, and it revealed his fangs probably because it was aggressive towards her because she took that picture and surprised or startled, and he was like letting her know, giving her a warning, like, "Hey, back off."
Yeah.
And I mean, that just shows, okay, they like apples, but I mean, I've always heard they're omnivores, they're opportunist eaters. They'll eat, you know, anything. I mean, I've heard of them stealing people's pets and stuff, like dogs and cats, and eating them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to find a letter that that the lady submitted to the Sarasota Police Department. Here we go. Nope, that's not it.
Well, we'll find it. We'll post it somewhere.
Yeah, whoops. My bad.
All right. Little interlude there.
Yeah. I'll find it, and yeah, we'll post that letter out there that she wrote to the Sarasota Police Department, and the picture as well. And you guys can catch that on our Facebook page, on our group page on Facebook, and we'll also probably post that on our website as well, if you want to check that out.
Yep.
Kyle, my friend, it was awesome having you here tonight, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I know it was last minute, so we appreciate it.
Yep, that's okay.
We do.
Glad I could help you.
Definitely. Thanks for stepping in. It was a big help.
You're welcome.
We'll probably drop this episode this Sunday, so be ready to listen for it. So,
alrighty. Sounds good to me. All
right, man. Well, you keep in touch and let us know what else is going on out there.
Yeah,
okay?
Let us know if you see anything else out there. That's crazy.
I'll try to keep my camera close by in case that happens again. If I can get a catch of it on camera.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
No worries. All right. You have a good one, buddy.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Yep. Take it easy.
Bye.